Hello, and welcome to our BBC Schools News Report.
On Sunday the 9th of March, Paul Moorhead accepted feature documentary at the Chicago Peace on Earth Film Festival for his provocative documentary, A Step Too Far, A Contemplation on Forgiveness.
This film focuses on the concept of forgiveness, what it is, and why we ourselves should forgive. It also shows us how different cultures implement forgiveness into their daily lives.
We interviewed some people about their views and opinions on forgiveness.
Mrs. Moorhead, did you learn anything from the Amish people?
Yes, I did. I learned several things. I think one was the way they are very gentle people. So the way they speak to each other and the way they treat people and how they treat other people, whether they're strangers or part of their family, they're very gentle in how they speak, and they don't seem to have harsh attitudes towards people at all. So I learned that. And I also learned from the fact that they are a separate community, but yet they live side by side with a different community, the non-Amish people, and they're very much able to live side by side with that other community, and they're not saying you're wrong and we are right. They're able to just live and do their own life and let the other people live their own life. And then finally, obviously, I learned a lot from their forgiveness, their attitude to it, the fact that they practice it and they teach it to their children.
Did you think the parents of the children in the shooting did the right thing to forgive the murderer?
That's a very difficult question and a difficult one to answer. I think ultimately, yes, they did, but I'm sure it wasn't an easy thing to do. And I'm not sure that I would find it easy if it was me.
Here we have Paul Moorhead, the director of the movie A Step Too Far, A Contemplation on Forgiveness. So Paul, what was your inspiration for this movie?
The inspiration for the film was after I read a book by a Mennonite bishop who had written about the 2006 Nickel Mine schoolhouse shooting, and I was really taken with the Amish response to the shooting, to the horrific event, and the idea of forgiveness. And I thought about this country here, I thought about the whole past, I thought about what are they going to do, and hopefully I thought maybe we can do something here which may inspire a few people to think differently.
Okay, can you tell me about your experience in the Amish community?
Well, we did meet quite a few Amish families, and the unfortunate thing is that real Amish people or old order Amish people will not go on camera. So we could really only talk to them. So we talked to people who knew them, and we took some of their experiences and put it in the film. But we found them very friendly. We found them very interested in what we had to say. As much as we were interested in them, they were interested in us. And we got to ask them all sorts of questions. Like when I asked them, why do you forgive so easily? The answer was, it's just what we do.
Do you have another idea for a massive movie?
Well, I don't know about massive movies, that's a Hollywood thing, but we're in post-production at the minute with a film that we shot in Harrisburg, the capital of Pennsylvania, which has to do with community engagement in urban areas and how a White House initiative has affected universities, or colleges as they would call them, which is working with their school district. So that's at the minute. We're also in negotiations with two other groups at the minute for two other films. One of them is a follow-up to the Forgiveness film, which is looking at all the main churches here, but we have to see how that goes.
Thank you.
We asked some pupils from 9AY and teachers who have seen the movie about their point of view on forgiveness.
So Julia, has this movie changed your perspective on forgiveness?
Yeah, I think it has, because this movie teaches us that we need to forgive to move forward, and that we should forgive like the Amish people do.
And Peter, do you think forgiveness is important in our day-to-day lives?
Yeah, I think it's really important, especially in Northern Ireland. That's the only way we can move on, is by forgiving each other, like Catholics and Protestants.
Do you find the Amish lifestyle interesting?
Actually, that's one of my big interests. I would read quite a lot of books about the Amish, and I would watch a lot of stuff to do with the Amish, and it's actually one of my dreams to go and not necessarily experience the Amish lifestyle, but to go and visit where they live and just see it for myself firsthand. I think it's a very simple lifestyle. I think there's a lot of good things about it, but I'm not sure about the whole thing, but it's definitely very, very interesting to me. Yeah.
Do you think it's easy to forgive?
No. I don't think it's an easy thing to do. And watching the film, a step too far. That was a very emotional experience for me. But I think it's something that God asks us to do, is to forgive people. And of course, He lived that out through, what Jesus did for us. And it's something that I do try to do, but it's not something that I necessarily find easy. I need a lot of help, and sometimes it takes a lot of time, but it's something that I think is very important so that you can live with yourself as well as live with other people. I think forgiveness is very important.
Thank you.
Last week, the American students from Messiah College in Pennsylvania answered some questions about their feelings on forgiveness.
So, if this was you in this situation, would you forgive the murderer?
It would be really hard for me to say if I'd be able to, because I've never been in such a situation with such a terrible loss. My upbringing would say yes, because my Christian faith has taught me to forgive regardless of the situation. But I've never, like I said, I've never been involved in such a drastic change in my life with the loss of a loved one. To say I forgive, but I'd like to say I'd forgive.
So, did you find this movie emotional, and why?
I did find it emotional when believe I was in 4th or 5th grade when the Nickel Mines schoolhouse shooting happened, and it happened in Lancaster County, which is only a county over from where I live. And so I live around a lot of Amish people who know the families that were affected by it, and seeing the way that the Amish people were able to forgive so quickly was inspiring for me and for my faith, and it really made me think about what it takes to forgive people. And I can remember looking back on the situation, I remember how immediately they forgave. And so watching the film, I was able to connect how I felt as a 4th or 5th grader. And then looking back on it now as an adult, it was really emotional. And I think that it's inspiring for us as Christians.
This film has touched the hearts of adults and children alike. It has reminded us of the importance of forgiveness, but what does influence us to forgive?
Family, faith, courage, love, friends. As Nelson Mandela said, forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon.
We would like to congratulate Paul Moorhead on his success and wish him even more in his upcoming projects. Thank you for watching.